There is nothing on Earth like an American national park, right up until you're sitting in a 2-hour line of cars in 95-degree heat, engine idling, creeping toward a parking lot that filled up before you were even awake, to see a viewpoint packed 3 people deep with strangers' selfie sticks. That, sadly, is what summer has become at the most famous ones. And here's the twist almost nobody's caught onto this year. In 2026, the Park Service actually went and removed the reservation systems at several of the busiest parks in the country. Now, that sounds like good news, doesn't it? No more setting an alarm to book a ticket months ahead. But think it through. Those parks just pulled in a record-breaking 330 million visitors. The crowd control valve is gone, and all that's left this summer is you, the heat, and everybody else fighting over the same parking spot. So I'm not here to tell you to skip the national parks. Never. I'm here to tell you which ones to skip in the dead heat of July. And for every single one, the stunning, near-empty park sitting right next door that gives you the same jaw-dropping view without the mob and without the misery. We're counting them down, and the number one park to avoid this summer just might be the exact one you were about to book. Let's get into it. One honest word first. Avoid here means avoid in the peak of summer. July and August, weekends and holidays. Every one of these places is a wonder in May, in September, in October, or at 6 in the morning before the crowds wake up. This is general travel guidance to help you plan smarter, not a knock on any park. And a few of these come with real summer heat that is genuinely dangerous, not just uncomfortable, so pay attention when I flag it. All right, number 8. Number 8, Great Smoky Mountains on the Tennessee-North Carolina line. It is, by a wide margin, the single most visited national park in the entire country. Well over 11 million people a year, more than double the next park on the list. And in summer, you feel every one of them. The main loop through Cades Cove, an 11-mile one-way road, routinely turns into a bumper-to-bumper crawl that can take you hours, usually because everyone's stopped dead to photograph a single deer. The gateway town of Gatlinburg is a traffic jam with taffy shops, and that famous blue smoke haze is thickest and hottest in the dog days of summer. So here's where you go instead. Drive up to Shenandoah National Park in Virginia, where Skyline Drive gives you that same rolling, misty Appalachian beauty. The overlooks, the wildflowers, the black bears, with a fraction of the crowd. Or, for something wilder, New River Gorge in West Virginia, one of the newest parks in the system and still gloriously uncrowded. Same mountains, same magic. Room to actually breathe. Number 7, Arches in Utah. Those impossible red stone arches balanced against a blue desert sky. It's one of the most photographed landscapes in America, and that's the whole problem. Arches has exactly one entrance road and a handful of world-famous stops along it, which means when it fills up, it truly fills up. And here's where that 2026 change bites hardest. Arches just dropped its timed entry reservation system. So the one tool that was spacing out the crowds is gone. And this summer, that single entrance road is going to back up for a mile while people sit in the heat waiting just to get in. And make no mistake, it is heat. Desert heat, radiating off bare rock, over 100 degrees, with almost no shade. So instead, drive that same scenic country and go to Canyonlands, just down the road. Specifically the Needles District, an hour south of Moab, where you get vast, jaw-dropping canyon country and quiet trails almost to yourself. Or pull over at Dead Horse Point State Park for a canyon overlook that'll stop your heart with a fraction of the people. Same Red Rock drama, none of the entrance gate gridlock. Number 6, Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. The trouble here is simple geography. It sits practically in Denver's backyard, so millions of people can reach it on a whim, and on a summer weekend it shows. The famous Trail Ridge Road and the Bear Lake area fill their parking lots by early morning and simply turn cars away. And unlike the parks that dropped their systems, Rocky Mountain has hung onto a timed entry permit for the busy season, so you've got the crowds and the reservation headache. Check the current rules before you even think about going. If it's soaring alpine scenery you're after, here's a spectacular swap: North Cascades National Park up in Washington State. Rugged, glacier-carved peaks, dense forests, turquoise alpine lakes. Genuinely some of the most dramatic mountain wilderness in the country, and it's one of the least visited parks in the whole system. You'll have those jagged ranges nearly to yourself. Number 5. Yosemite in California. Now, Yosemite Valley may be the single most beautiful 7 square miles in America. Half Dome, El Capitan, those waterfalls pouring off sheer granite. And that's exactly why, in summer, it becomes a parking lot with a view. All the icons are crammed into that one small valley, and the roads through it choke solid by mid-morning. Yosemite is also one of the parks that dropped its reservation requirement this year, and it's adding a new fee on top, so brace for that valley to be more gridlocked than ever this summer. So instead, head about an hour and a half south to Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, where you can stand beneath the largest living trees on the planet, giants wider than your car and older than recorded history, and walk into one of the deepest canyons in North America with a small fraction of Yosemite's crowds. Towering, humbling, and quiet. That's the trade. Quick pause, because we're into the top 4 now. The true heavy hitters. Do me a favor while you're thinking about it. Tell me down in the comments which national park gave you the best or the worst summer crowd experience, and where you'd send a friend instead. I read every single comment, and honestly, some of the best hidden gem tips I've ever gotten came from folks just like you who'd just gotten back from that exact trailhead. All right, number 4. Number 4, Yellowstone. The first national park in the world and a genuine wonderland. Geysers, canyons, and more wildlife than anywhere in the lower 48. But in summer, Yellowstone has a very particular kind of misery, the wildlife jam. All it takes is one bison strolling near the road, or a distant bear, and traffic stops dead for a mile in every direction while hundreds of people leap out of their cars. Add the crush at Old Faithful and the packed geyser boardwalks, and a place this vast can leave you feeling like you spent your whole day in a parking lot. So instead, slip just south to Grand Teton National Park. Those iconic sawtooth peaks rising straight up out of the valley, the same incredible wildlife, and noticeably fewer of the traffic snarls. Or, if it's the bubbling, steaming, geothermal magic you came for, go to Lassen Volcanic National Park in Northern California, which has boiling mud pots, steaming vents, and hot springs to rival Yellowstone's, thanks to the 40-some volcanoes in the park, with a tiny sliver of the visitors. Number 3, Zion in Utah. Zion is spectacular. Those towering red and cream canyon walls with the Green River winding through the bottom. It's also become a masterclass in how crowds can ruin a great park. To manage the mob, Zion runs a mandatory shuttle through the main canyon in summer, and the lines for that shuttle can turn into an hour of standing in the sun before you've hiked a single step. The famous Angel's Landing Trail now requires winning a permit lottery just for the chance to climb it. Parking in the gateway town of Springdale is its own daily battle, and the canyon bakes in summer. So here's your beautiful alternative. Capitol Reef National Park, also in Utah, gets well over 1 million fewer visitors a year than Zion, and delivers the same stunning desert of cliffs, slot canyons, and natural arches, without the shuttle line or the permit lottery. Or for a smaller, quieter Red Rock Escape, Snow Canyon State Park, not far from Zion, is a world away in crowds. Same drama, no queue. Number 2, the Grand Canyon. Specifically, the South Rim, where something like 90% of all visitors go. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and everyone should see it once. But on a summer day, that South Rim is a wall of tour buses and packed viewpoints. And here's the part that's genuinely serious, not just annoying. If you hike down into the canyon in summer, the temperature climbs as you descend, easily topping 110 degrees at the bottom, and every single year the rangers pull out hikers who underestimated that heat. It is dangerous, full stop. So here's the insider move most people never make. Go to the North Rim instead. It's the very same canyon, the same impossible, mile-deep view. But it sits 1,000 feet higher, so it's cooler and greener, and it draws only about 10% of the crowds. Same wonder of the world. A fraction of the people, and a fraction of the heat. And that brings us to number 1, the park I'd tell just about anybody to stay away from in summer, and for a reason that's got nothing to do with crowds: Death Valley. Now, Death Valley is genuinely one of the most surreal, otherworldly landscapes in America. Vast salt flats, painted hills, sand dunes rolling to the horizon. But it is also, by measured fact, the hottest place on the entire planet. In the heart of summer, temperatures there regularly blow past 120 degrees and have climbed to 130. That is not a bring extra water situation. That is genuinely, seriously life-threatening heat. Your car can fail, your body can fail, and cell service is thin to none. Death Valley in the winter and early spring is spectacular and pleasant. Mild, comfortable, even wildflowers if you're lucky. But in July? Look away from it entirely. And if you're set on the desert in summer, choose a high-elevation park like Great Basin in Nevada, where the altitude keeps things cool and the crowds are almost non-existent. Same wide-open desert wonder without gambling with your safety. So let me leave you with the honest truth underneath this whole list, because I don't want you crossing these treasures off your dreams out of fear. It means go smart. And 2 simple rules will save your entire trip. First, on the crowds. Whatever famous park is calling to you, look 1 park over. There is almost always a stunning, half-empty alternative nearby, sometimes a state park or a national forest with the same scenery, lower fees, and far fewer rules. And if you must see the big-name park, go in the shoulder season, in May or September or October, or be standing at the gate before 7 in the morning, before the crowds ever wake up. That one habit will hand you the park the way it was meant to be seen. And second, on the heat. In any desert park in summer, it is a genuine danger and not a detail. Carry far more water than you think you need. Stay out of the midday sun. Never hike down into a canyon in the afternoon. And know that it hits harder the older we get. Match the trip to the season and the park to the crowd you're willing to fight. And America's wild places are still the greatest show on earth. Chase only the famous names in the heat of July, and you'll spend your vacation in a line of cars with the air conditioning running. The difference, every single time, is just knowing before you go. And now you do. If this saved you from a hot, crowded, bumper-to-bumper week, or pointed you towards somewhere better, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It genuinely helps other folks find the channel before they plan their trip. Take care of yourselves out there and safe travels.